You know, it's a big planet. There's a lot of people out there and a lot of people that appreciate the music, and we want to see it all.
You're 1 week away from the end of this crazy busy tour. How tired are you right now?
I think we're all holding up pretty good. Like, we've been, we're on this bandwagon. We're sleeping at night. Everyone's pacing themselves, and we're doing great. Like, everyone's, spirits are high. Everyone wants to be here. So.
But in a week from now, you're closing the tour. You're doing that in your hometown.
Yeah.
With not just a wrap-up party, but also the launch of the Perpetual Terminal beer.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. That's exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I think we've got some friends of ours doing an ice cream also.
Yep.
So there's going to be a special beer and ice cream party. It's like, it's like a proper little kid's birthday party.
Exactly.
Well, I guess not beer, but.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Depends on the parents, I guess.
Yeah.
So we've got beer, we've got ice cream. What's next on the list?
Product-wise, nothing like that. No other like consumables coming out. Yeah. But yeah, we're wrapping up the tour, and we have some other prospects for the summertime, and then we got some other stuff in the winter. So yeah, I just want to kind of keep playing, keep getting the new record out to people, playing new songs live has been really fun.
After this, you've got more US dates, June, July coming. I think you're going to Europe in August. It's a busy year, and then you've done a crazy amount of shows in the last 30 days. For a band as experienced as you guys, like, how do you make sure that on a schedule like that there's no burnout?
Like I was saying, it's pretty much just a matter of pacing yourself, like making sure you get enough sleep, make sure you drink enough water, make sure you're not partying too hard all the time. Like we're getting a little older now, so we gotta like just kind of take it slow. Maybe eat some vegetables here and there, some healthy stuff. But yeah, I think it's when we love doing this, so it's just a kind of like normal for us to play shows every day,
This tour package is a really fun package. 4 different bands, unique bands. But what they all have in common, or those 3 bands have in common with you guys, is that at the end of the day, really hard to put them in one box. Like there's always like some different elements going on, whether it's very doomy side, where it's death and thrash combined, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Important for you still today that a band shouldn't be too easily classifiable. The sound should be varied.
Yeah, I think there's some bands where obviously you always know what you're gonna get, and that's cool. We like a little diversity in our lineups. We don't. It would be kind of boring to just have like 4 of the exact same kind of bands or something. So we really like to change it up, and we worked with our Monarch, our label, and they because all the bands on this tour are also on Monarch, so. We worked with them to like pick the bands and make it this kind of like little something for everybody.
Exactly. Well, and those bands all released really good albums recently as well. So
yeah,
I'm very excited to see, I Am, for example, today. That will be
they're super sick.
Your albums are always pretty diverse, and I think on the new album, what is the perfect example of that is at the end of the album we get the last 3 songs combined. For me, are maybe the highlight, the combined highlight, if you will, of the album.
Okay.
But you take us on a real roller coaster with, we've got Mausoleum, which is very different than, I think My Only Regret follows that, which is that, punky song that we always want to see from Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
But I understand that Mausoleum, that song, originally was not even meant for Darkest Hour. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was like, I've got this other project I was working on where I'm like singing and playing acoustic and with a buddy of mine in Germany. And that was something I had, like, it wasn't really fully written or anything. It was just like an idea that I had for that project. And I brought it to Mike's basement where we put all this stuff together. And it seemed like, we had a lot of the elements that we were looking for. We had a lot of the thrashy stuff, the deathy stuff, the, melodic stuff. I was like, hey, how about this? And it was really cool how it worked out. We kind of like, we formed the music together. And I mean, it started with like the idea that I had, and then we, really like collaborated to make it something different, something special. Yeah. And it still feels like Darkest Hour to me. It feels like that kind of more In Flames-y side of us, and that's always been like a big part of our sound, I think. So.
On Godless, you took a bit of a different approach for a lyrical perspective. We're telling more of a story, if you will. But now, after 7 years, I guess, very much more of a, looking at what's going on in the world around you, especially in the United States. When I interviewed Mike, he was like, well, after these last 7 years, it would not be okay if we didn't have anything to say. Yeah. You share that vibe, like it's we expect Darkest Hours to give a comment, if you will.
I mean, there's always like little sprinklings of, maybe something means something kind of heavy, maybe something is kind of personal, and then, and then there's songs like Prayer to the Holy Death, which I, got from like a Santa Muerte candle. It was like, all right, Holy Death, okay, cool. So there's a little bit of there's like a lot of serious stuff, and then there's some more just classic heavy metal talking about death.
There you go. In some way, maybe a bit of a return of that vibe, some older albums. You've tried very different approaches. So I know that you're very busy with still promoting this album, and then next year it's also 30th year of the band or 30th anniversary of the band, and there's a lot of people are gonna want you to celebrate a lot of milestones and what have you. But if we can jump ahead of all of that and think about, what's next, I'm sure that I don't think you're somebody that waits 7 years to write something new. So what direction are you going now?
I mean, it's tough to say. Like we're definitely sitting on this for a little bit, but we really like how on the new one we kind of like we took some of the extremes from the last few records. We took the self-titled had the really super melodic side to it, and then Godless Prophets had the really non-melodic, super evil, brutal kind of side to it. And we're really like happy with on the new one how we just kind of like blended those two styles a little bit. So I could say I could see more of that happening in the future, having a little more like well-rounded, not just like one extreme or the other. I could see that being more in the future, but we haven't written anything yet. We're not gonna take 7 years, but
please don't. Yeah.
It's we're not exactly there just yet.
Yeah. I did mention real quick those milestones that are coming, like its first 30th anniversary of the band. Soon after, first album is going to turn 30 as well. milestones like that, forget about what people expect from you to do, and people are gonna ask like, are you gonna play this anniversary show and play the whole album and so on. But for you personally, like, do you care about milestones like that? Do you take steps back and like appreciate the legacy that you're starting to build now as well?
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, it makes you appreciate, you know, when you come across something like, oh, we've been in the band for 25 years, or oh, we're going to be a band for 30 years. Like it, you know, it makes me appreciate, you know, that we can still do this,
Right.
that we're still able to make music together, go on tour and play shows in front of people. So yeah, it makes me really appreciate it. But also, honestly, at this point, there's 10 albums out, so it's like I feel like every year, every other year, there's some kind of like, oh, it's 15-year anniversary of this record or 20-year anniversary of this record. But it is fun to do those kind of tours. Like we, you know, we did one for Undoing Ruin, we did one for Deliver Us, and when we went to Japan, we just did this thing where we did Undoing Ruin one night in Tokyo and Deliver Us the next night in Tokyo. That was really cool too. I like doing that stuff, but I also like mostly to do what we're doing now, which is, you know, playing a lot of new stuff and, you know, mixing in a lot of the stuff that people want to hear to make kind of like a well-rounded set. It is fun sometimes to do whole albums, but yeah, I prefer like the kind of way we're doing it now.
You've played the biggest festivals, you've played the smallest clubs, you've been to Japan, which is always a big check mark for everybody that starts a band. What is there still something left on your wish list that hasn't happened yet?
Sure. You know, we've been all over the world, but there's still a lot of places we haven't. You know, we want to play as many places as we possibly can. You know, there's some places in like Southeast Asia we haven't played. We played in South Africa, but nowhere else in Africa. That would be cool. We've played a little bit in South America, but really not a lot. So, you know, it's a big planet. There's a lot of people out there and a lot of people that appreciate the music, and we want to see it all.
watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.